Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Tea and Crystals podcast. I am T.
And I'm Kristal.
Ladies and gentlemen, as always, we are so happy to have you all back with us for another episode of this here illustrious podcast here on a Monday. Glad to see y'all again on a Monday. I hope that y'all like the new schedule. I hope that y'all appreciate us, aka Kristal, putting in so much effort on the social media to make sure that you all are aware of our new schedule. I think you all are reacting well from what I can see so far. We are recording a little earlier in the week than we had planned originally. So all of the results are not in, but from the results I'm seeing, it's looking like it's trending towards what we were hoping. But I don't want to speak too soon. We'll see how y'all react as we come towards the end of the week. We got quite a few things to get into. A surprise that I don't even know about coming up towards the middle of the episode. But before we get into all of that, y'all know how I got to start the show. Kristal, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. I'm still freezing. Our AC hasn't been fixed yet, but thankfully, like I said, between the mini split and my window AC, we've been able to keep the house cool, even with how hot it's been down in this area. My hands in particular right now are like so cold. I bundled up a little bit more, like I put on like winter socks on and everything like that, so that's good. But that's about it.
You know what I just realized?
What?
That fucking Stitch mug that you got. When you say you was freezing, your hands was freezing, I looked down. We had a whole 45-minute conversation, if not an hour, before the show. And I just now realized that you got a Stitch mug.
Saw it? I'm so excited for it. Wait. Watch this.
Oh my, okay. Y'all, if y'all are not watching the podcast, if y'all are listening to the podcast, pause it right now, go to the YouTube, go to about 2 minutes and 15 seconds. If you missed it, rewind a little bit. That was adorable. I ain't gonna lie to you. It was adorable. And I'm not gonna say what happened because I want y'all to go to the YouTube and see it for yourselves. That was a treat.
I saw it on TikTok and I was like, I need that. I've always said that, you know, my favorite Disney movie is Lion King. But if I had to choose a favorite like Disney character, Stitch is definitely up there. I love Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, actually, I think I'm with you on that one.
Exactly. So I'm really excited.
The dragon from Mulan. Was it Mushu?
Oh yeah, Mushu.
Mushu. Okay. That little man right there, I almost said something else. That little man right there was funny.
Yes,
please do it again,
agree.
Kristal. I want to see it one more time. Please. Oh my God. I love it so much. If they had a smaller version, because that's big as hell.
It is big as hell, but I'm not mad about it. I don't mind the big mugs. But yeah, I'm so excited. I'm not going to lie. When I first saw it on TikTok, I immediately went to Amazon and I saw it, but I hadn't gotten paid yet. So I was like, okay, I'm going to get it the next time I get paid. Went to get it. It was sold out, completely sold out. I was so upset. And then when it did finally come back like a week later, it was like double the price.
I knew
for
it.
Sure. I was like, it is what it is. It's fine. Whatever. I want it. I know I want it. And I knew it was like going to be a big mug. So there's, you know, I can do others. It's not just for drinking. I can put like some soup or some food or something like that in here.
Girl, you can put that's a Panera bowl. Panera, so if you're listening, that is a good Disney X Panera crossover. If you sell them soups in them mugs like that, hey, listen, if you do it, just cut me my residuals, cut me my royalties, and I'll keep my mouth shut.
But yes, okay. I love it so much. It's so cute.
My God, that is adorable. So, I'm sorry to hear that you're freezing once again.
Thank you.
That's quite unfortunate, but I'm sure, you know, everybody else in the U.S., they dealing with, girl, heat advisories up to the 100 in teens. I just saw that. I'm about to say, I just saw down in Texas, Houston and all them. They ain't got no power. And the damn man came on the news and he said, I don't know when you finna get it, but it ain't finna be tomorrow. I said, oh my God. And these are the officials. They were like, bitch, I don't know. I work here and I've been here for 30 years and I don't know when y'all finna get y'all shit back.
Yeah.
Whoa, buddy. Like,
it hit somewhere in the Caribbeans too. Did it hit any of the Caribbean islands?
I know it went through Jamaica, but Jamaicans were jumping off the roofs of buildings into each other's genitals the whole time. So I don't know. I don't know what kind of carry on. All I saw from Jamaica, because they didn't lose a single millisecond of power. Okay. Because them cell phones was cell phoning all 480p. Okay. Them videos was uploaded to the internet. When I said they was twerking in the rain, water spouts, they twerking in the middle of water spouts. I mean, serving oxtail in the middle. It was
they were like,
crazy.
We've done this before.
Listen, it looked like I ain't gonna hold you. If I thought the plane would make it, I may have flown down. I may have flown down there and joined the festivities. It looked fun as hell. I ain't never seen. Leave it to black people to make a hurricane fun. Leave it to black people.
I was about to say, we need to call up our mutual friend and be like, hey,
because you know
make another trip. That's exactly. Of course it is. So we thought of too. Hey, girl.
But mind you, I'm so jealous that you've been there with them and I have not. Mind you, anyway, we're not going there. We're not going there because I have a gripe with them and going on these vacations. But I could never go because it was so close to when I would leave.
Yeah.
That I couldn't make both happen.
Make the funds. Yeah.
I'm still irked about that.
I mean, I get you. I've only ever been on it with them one time. And so anytime I saw them go later, I was like, I want to go too. I was always so jealous, but yes.
You and me both. They be sitting there at the damn table making the plans and I'll be over there like.
That's why I know, right? I was the same way. And that's why I was a little low key when I came to visit you. I was like, look at all the fun we're having over here in Denmark.
In sub-zero temperatures, yeah.
Look,
mind you, I
like the cold, so I was like, I'm not mad about it.
You ain't lying.
And like I said, it's so green over there, even in the wintertime. So it's like, there's not flowers on the trees necessarily, but it's still so beautiful.
It is the trade-off. Like, it's finna be like the highest temperature we've had here this year, I think was like 77 so far. Today was 74. And we damn near mid-July. And it's about to drop back down to the 60s, mid-60s.
Yeah. Yeah. And even like when we were in the rain, it was never like I brought a heavy coat thinking, oh my God, I'm going to be freezing. But no, I ended up using my lighter coat almost exclusively the whole time I was in Denmark and in Sweden, because even though it was cold, it was never so cold that I was like, oh my God, I'm bundled up and freezing. So even when it was raining or anything like that. So we were able to walk around and regardless of what the weather was and be completely fine and comfortable and explore. Yeah. Like nothing, the weather did not hold us back in the slightest. So. Oh
no, you I mean, we were bundled up. I know I had my hat, scarf, gloves, heavy coat and all that shit on.
Yeah.
But you get used to it after a while. But
I was about to say, I mean, I would always have like a sweater on, but like my jacket wasn't even like a real jacket. Like it was a Shein jacket, I want to say. Like it wasn't a anything that had any sort of. So between that and then my scarf on, I had a little scarf on. Like I was good. I was perfectly fine. Again, I prefer the cold. Like I don't get freezing too easily, which goes to show you how cold it is right here. I get hot more than anything, and I hate being hot. So that might play a factor in it. So for someone who gets really cold, maybe it was a little bit more uncomfortable for them. But for me, it was perfectly fine. I loved it.
Yeah, you always had a thick sweater on underneath, so that was you had the foundation of what you needed to survive that time. So absolutely, you ready to get into the show?
I am. I'm ready to get into it.
Yeah, you are first. Let's see what you got.
Okay, this one was actually sent to me. Oh damn. That's something we still have to do. We have, to our listeners, we do have someone who wrote into us an update to a story we read before. And we haven't made the time to look it over to bring it forward. We're going to do that next episode. We will be
Yeah.
reading your story, your update that you gave us, because I believe we read a story from her before, and this is the
Yeah.
update to that story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember which one of us read it, so we'll have to go back and look. But that is on the horizon. But this one was sent to me. I think it's a petty revenge type story.
Petty revenge.
Yeah, so I'm really excited for it.
Mm-hmm. We like a petty revenge, right? I may have one of those in my near future as well. We're feeling real petty and revengey around here lately. Mm-hmm.
We have been. Okay, so this one says, my friend wore white to our friend's wedding, then got upset when that friend wore the same dress to her wedding.
I'm with it.
I'm with it. They said, so this is my favorite petty revenge wedding drama I've ever bore witness to. I, 28 female, have 2 female friends in my immediate circle, Sarah, 28 female, and Taylor, 27 female, who were engaged at the same time. Sarah only had a maid of honor, me, and Taylor had her 5 sisters as her bridesmaids. During the planning process, anytime Sarah would have an event, dress shopping, bridal shower, etc., Taylor would go out of her way to remind the other girls not to wear white because it's only for the bride. At these same events, Sarah would mention something she was doing to the wedding, and Taylor would pipe up and say, well, at my wedding, we're doing this. But that's cute too. Passive-aggressive shit like that. Sarah's wedding day came around, and Taylor shows up in a white dress with some flower details on it, but is for the most part white. Now, I'm of the opinion that no matter the pattern of the dress, don't wear white, but that's just me. Sarah's mother confronted Taylor about the dress, and she said it was fine to wear because it had a flower pattern. It wasn't all white. She repeated the same thing when Sarah finally saw her and basically asked, what the fuck? After hearing her explanation, Sarah just smiled and said she understood and to have fun. Taylor talked about her own wedding to anyone who would listen. Fast forward to Taylor's wedding, Sarah shows up wearing the exact same dress. As I'm sure you can predict, Taylor was furious and cursed at her for wearing a white dress to her wedding. Sarah brilliantly responded with the brightest smile on her face. But don't you remember? You wore this to my wedding. You were totally right about the pattern. It's so beautiful. Taylor denied wearing the dress and said hers was mostly flowers with a little bit of white. So Sarah pulls out a printed off photo of her and Taylor at her wedding with her in that dress. She just said, see, now we're twins. The rest of the night, anytime someone asked about her dress or pointed out that it was white, she simply pulled out the photo and showed it off, as well as her other wedding photos that she printed and brought with her. The two have not spoken since, and I will continue to praise my friend for having the lady balls I will never have.
I love that. I love it, to be honest. Because I was like, okay, so this is the end of this friendship. Like they not fucking with each other at all. Like, and for you to be telling other people not to wear white to my wedding, and then show up to my wedding with that fucking dress on,
in a white floral dress.
Like, it was like you set that up so you could do that to me. Like, right. You was like, no, don't nobody else wear white because I'm going to wear white to her wedding.
Yeah,
to show her that I don't fuck with her like that.
Yeah, the person who sent it to me, they also sent me the picture that I guess was in the comments. So she showed, and it looks like it's like an off the shoulder, and then it's white right here. It's kind of fitted, and then it flares out and like kind of drapes around right below the knees, and then. So the very top part of it, I think, is all white, and then it's just the bodice, the skirt, essentially, that's got flowers on it, but they're very, very light, like a light pink.
Okay.
So it looked very, it was very white.
I mean, in my head, right, I know if I was in this situation, and somebody did that to me, I just wouldn't be going to that person's wedding. Like that would have been the end of the road for me, because I'm not. Kristal know how I am with the whole revenge thing. I can appreciate it for what it is. I'm not finna participate in it because that's too much energy that I have to expend on something that I don't give a shit about anymore. Anyway, like once you've shown me that you would do something like that to me, it just is what it is. Like, okay, and that's it. Bitch, you got me. Okay, great. You never gonna see me
No,
again.
yeah.
Don't even worry about
See,
me. So for her to go to that length, I think in this case was appropriate because she knew at that moment, so we're not friends at all. Like we're actually
mm-hmm.
enemies. And the
Yes.
only way she wouldn't have been able to rest is if she got her back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what she did. And she deaded it right there. Like,
Yes.
and that's the kind of petty because I was actually thinking about this the other day, crazy enough, of a situation that is it's similar very, very generally to this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Not where I had to get somebody back, but more of like I had to do something to show that person that I knew what was happening. Like there was a lot of stuff going on over my shoulder that this person didn't think that I knew.
Mm.
And it had just come to a point in the head where I just had to kind of show in front of everybody, like, I got your card. Like, I know
Mm.
exactly what's happening. I don't know if you know this story, actually, Kristal, and it's not one that I can tell on the podcast because I know that there's people watching who were at this said event where this transpired.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a reason that it was jogged in my memory because something happened recently that jogged it because I had forgot about it. If I remember, I'll tell you after, Kristal, because girl,
Okay.
it's a good
I'll
story.
try to remember it at least.
But in that vein, I could see why she would go in this direction to make sure that she got her leg back.
Yeah, I was about to say this is definitely something I would love to at least witness or thoroughly participate as well because it is the perfect, it's like you said, as soon as she had come to my wedding and said all that, knowing I felt the same way about people wearing white that she obviously felt, I would have immediately thought, okay, so this relationship is over.
Yeah.
But in the spirit of ending our friendship, I'm going to end it with a bang. And I just love that she was just like, I'm just going to and I did look at the post, this original post that it came from, and I looked in the comments and stuff like that as well. And I guess she did say that someone was like, well, how did you find her dress? She found it from her Pinterest board. It had the link to the exact dress on like Amazon or something like that, and that's how she bought the exact dress. But yeah, it's you just matched her energy at the end of the day.
And there it is.
You didn't do anything harmful or hurtful. You matched her energy perfectly. You didn't go above or below. It's exactly what she did. Exactly. So if it was appropriate for her, it was appropriate for you.
Yeah.
And while she talked all about her wedding at yours, you brought photos and was like, yeah, see, look at my wedding. It was great. It was fabulous. I got more photos. I got a whole fucking album. So I love it.
Just going to somebody else's wedding and bragging about your upcoming wedding is crazy to me.
Some people some people have that pick me energy. It has to be about them. It has to. Yeah.
Don't y'all get tired?
Don't you? That's what I wonder about.
Get tired. Like I'm tired now thinking about it. That's a lot of energy that you have to spend on that.
Yes.
Thinking of ways to get under people's skin, to making shit about you, like that's brain power that you could be putting into something else. Or you could turn your brain off for a minute and fucking lax.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Zeus. Anyway, they about to get me on a damn, because they about to piss me off. Kristal seeing me getting wound up. Just thinking about it. Like, y'all are some miserable somebodies. Jeez Louise. When we have that episode about the internet, I'm finna be red faced the entire time. I hate you, internet niggas. With a passion. Anyway, because y'all just be talking. Anyway, you ready for the next story?
Yes.
Before I go even deeper into this.
Even more on a tangent.
Jeez Louise.
I swear I don't choose these stories to piss you off.
Kristal.
I'd be thinking, okay, this isn't too bad. This isn't bad.
It be an innocent story, and by the end of it, I'll be pissed
Off.
off.
Like you piss yourself off. The more you dig into the story, you're like, this is pissing me off. Just like,
It's because, like, I can't help but to think of the root issue of these
mm-hmm.
situations. And when you really, 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 really break it down to the root cause, it's so dumb. It's so
Mm-hmm.
stupid.
Yeah.
Why would you waste your time on this?
Yeah.
This shit don't matter. Like, it don't matter. Anyway, I too have a petty revenge story that I would like to share with
Ooh.
you.
Look at us twinning.
Yeah. Look at us twinning. And this one is entitled Revenge Potato After Tracking Tag Found.
Okay.
Exactly. Exact girl. That the first time I read it, I had to read it 2 or 3 more
I was
times
about
because
to
I
say
was
I had
like,
to I was like, revenge what?
Revenge
Okay.
Potato.
Tracking? I'm
A
confused.
potato flew around my room. That Channel Orange album. Shout out to you, Frank Ocean. You did your big one with that. That Channel Orange album changed my life. Anyway, girl, I'm so random tonight. Anyway, my kid's mother, my ex, is a control freak. We have shared care. You know what? I should have edited this before. I meant to edit this before I read. But I was too lazy to do so. I meant to skip that sentence. Excuse me. Let's start again for the edit.
Okay.
My kid's mother, my ex, is a control freak. We have shared care. She demands to know her daughter's every movement, texts constantly, checking up on her, and a load of other overbearing nonsense. One of the reasons I left her also. My daughter is now well into her teens and fed up with the control. The ex tries to track her via various apps on my daughter's phone. However, my daughter is savvy enough to disable this when she wants. So we went camping for a week in the summer with my new partner and her kids. I told the ex exactly where we were camping and our planned travel route. My daughter had had enough of the control and text and turned off her phone as we left for the trip. We had to detour a bit due to roadworks, and soon I got a text from my ex demanding to know where we were going and why our daughter wasn't responding. I was surprised that she even knew we were off track a bit. Once we got to camp, we were looking. Let me read that again. Once we got to camp, we were looking and made sure enough to find an air tag hidden in my daughter's bag. Both myself and my daughter were pretty unimpressed and almost dumped it in the garbage. Instead, we decided to have some fun. We were camping in a small town with a post office. We bought a large potato on which my daughter drew an angry face, put the air tag on it, and put the potato inside a sealed post bag and posted it to her mother. Over the next 6 days of camping, I received a series of increasingly agitated calls and texts from the ex about her whereabouts. She was freaking out as the tag traveled from our remote town through another state and slowly back to her address. A week goes by fast and we head home. Dropped the kids off to their mothers and almost forgot about the package as it hadn't arrived apparently. A few days later, I got an excited call from my daughter who was grounded. The post bag had turned up at least a couple of weeks later after sending. The potato had gone bad and turned to a foul smelling mush in the bag that, upon opening, had spilled on the living room carpet, leaving a rotten mess with an air tag in the middle. Even better, it was my ex who opened it. I wish I had been there to see her face. Apparently, it was worth the grounding. The ex still tries to control and track my kids, but she doesn't have much luck. Shout out to me for not editing that beforehand.
My God.
Girl.
You know, when we talk about you can put your energy towards something else, like mama.
Look at the material.
Damn. Like when your child moves away and only contacts you once in a blue moon, refer back to this incident and every other incidents before that. These parents who are so controlling of their kids' whereabouts, like I don't know why they don't realize these kids are going to grow up. They're going to grow up. And the more you try to control them, the more they're going to end up rebelling. And so then you're going to be looking at their rebelling as them acting out and being bad, when in reality, they're just trying to get a little independence from you. Because my childhood friend was very much like this. She had two older siblings whose lives were not nearly as tracked as hers was. Like, they treated her like the bad child, or the one who could potentially be the bad child. Almost, it was like they knew she could be doing things that were wrong, so instead of waiting to see if she would do them, they would just try to cut it off from the source. She was never allowed to spend the night at anyone else's house. Everybody had to go to her house to spend the night. Same thing with like parties and stuff like that. She could only be there for a certain amount of time. It was only for an hour or two, and then she had to come back home. Like, everything was very regulated. And so of course, when she became a teenager, she started sneaking out to meet boys and boyfriends or whatever, and she started sneaking alcohol and boys into the room and stuff like that, and smoking and all this stuff. And I'm sure she would have done some of that stuff anyways, but I think the main reason why she did a lot of it was in spite of her parents and their controlling ways. So I feel bad for kids whose parents like try to lock themselves on them like that. Like, I don't even know if you're necessarily the whole world, or if it really is just simply about a control thing. Some parents are just so controlling, and so their child is the one thing they have the right to control for the most part in their eyes. So they take it to the extreme, especially as they get older. And I will never understand when it comes to people who are separate. I'm going to tell you one thing. If I'm ever with somebody and we have a child and we break up, as long as that guy is not like a evil criminal, like someone I have to worry about my child's safety with, if they're just their dad, even if they've done me wrong, I'm telling you right now, come take this child. Come get them. Take them for your extended time. Don't call me. Don't text me unless they're in the hospital or something is seriously wrong. Take
and they better
them.
be missing a leg.
I know.
Okay.
Like, deal with them yourself.
No,
I don't understand these people who separate and they still feel the need to control their child when their child is with their other parent. I understand you and that parent are no longer, on good terms because of things they've done to you. I get that. But when you also try to project those emotions onto your child, that's where it causes a lot of problems and miscommunications, and where you guys end up clashing even more because you're not trusting each other with your child. You're letting past mistakes with each other affect the relationship with the child, when those instances aren't things that your partner would do to their very own child.
I think people who can't reconcile how their relationship ended, and it's usually when it ended on terms that were a bit out of their control, or they feel like they've been done wrong or something, just cannot relinquish the tiny bit, because it was out of their control.
Yeah.
They can't, they know they can control their child. And people who do stuff like this, for real, I ain't gonna hold you. Y'all sick in the head. Okay? If you willing to play with your child like that, play with your child's emotions, like you are raising a whole living, breathing human being. Kids, you will be surprised how young kids become a sponge for emotion. How much they can, how much they repeat your words and actions. Like, they absorb this stuff and they remember it. Kids have really good, y'all be thinking, I can do whatever around my kids because they ain't gonna remember when they grow up. Kids have a remarkable memory. They really do. And whether they share that with you or not, that's on you. But they internalize this stuff. And to see you, because this is out of spite. You ain't trying to keep track of your daughter like that, girl. You trying to annoy your ex-husband. That's what you trying to do.
Yeah.
And keep control over that child, because you ain't tracking that girl when she in your house.
Right.
Because you control it.
What if he matched her energy? What if he was the one who, every time she's out of his sight, he's constantly calling you, texting you, asking her whereabouts? You're going to get mad. You're going to get annoyed. She's with me. What do you need to know about? She's fine. She's safe. Exactly.
Mhm.
So it's like when you try to do something like this, just think about if it's in the reverse. Like if this is something that's going to bother you, if you're going to get upset and take it personally, imagine how that person is feeling as well.
Yeah.
Like I'm with you on that one. And
And
I especially
she lucky
because
he answering the phone, because you got one time to call me on my weekend with my
right,
child.
my phone would have been off
I'm
too.
not obligated to answer this phone.
Mm-mm.
Matter of fact, you lucky if you don't have a Google Voice number.
Right.
You ain't getting my main line. I need something that I can turn off and on your
right,
ass.
right.
Okay.
Yeah. And going back to what you said when it comes to children and their, these parents, they do these to their children, and when they're young, their children is all about their parents. But like I said, eventually they're going to grow up and they're going to have thoughts of their own, opinions of their own, and they're going to notice some of these behaviors as being toxic, and you risk them, I don't want to say turning on you, but like that's the best thing I can describe. Essentially turning on you later, being upset and angry because they feel you cheated them out of, whether it's a relationship with the other parent or something else, but they recognize that they were heavily influenced by your own securities. And that ends up straining what relationship you end up having. And then you're sitting there, oh, why doesn't my child contact me, want to be around me? Why are they always with this parent? Because they didn't get the chance when they were kids to be around this parent all the time, because they thought this parent was bad or wrong somehow, but in reality it was just your projection of that parent. Exactly. And your need to control certain situations. I mean, people can only take things so much. I mean, kudos to this guy that he's just like, whatever, like I'm putting up with it. But there are other parents who can't handle that constant intervention on their child's time, on their time with their child. And it gets to them and it gets frustrating. And when the child especially is young and they're still torn between wanting to please one parent versus another parent, it can be frustrating for them when they don't feel like their child is choosing them. It just puts the child ultimately in the middle of everything, and it just it sucks all the way around.
Exactly. And if I call the police when I find this air tag, okay, I don't know what type of charges I can press, but bitch, I'm gonna try trafficking everything. Okay, I'm gonna try everything I can to get your ass in a clinker, because you can get on my putting an air tag, hiding an air tag in our child's luggage.
I was about to say that's the key. Crazy? There. Hiding the air tag.
Hiding it.
I'm fine with people wanting to do these things with their kids or whatever. I get it. But when you have to hide it, that's another thing. You should be having a conversation with your child. Yeah. Hey, this is for your safety. This is just so I know. I mean, shoot, my cousin, her and her mom, they're always sharing their locations with each other. Smart. Very seldom do they turn those locations off. And I just think that's a great idea. I don't think me and my mom can do that because she has an Android and I have an iPhone. So I don't think it works.
But they have apps.
Do they have apps
for cross?
But I heard that and I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. That's something I wouldn't mind having or doing with my mom or with my family in general. But yeah, I'm not saying it's a bad thing to want to track or keep track of your kids, but there's a way to go about it. Have a conversation with them. Let them know, because there are risks out there. Things aren't, there's a lot of bad people out there. Hopefully your child's father isn't one of them, but this could be something you guys can mutually agree on and allow each other to have that like reassurance. But when you do it in hiding, that just feels very sneaky, and it just feels like you're once again showing that you don't trust the other parents because you have to have a tracker on her when she's with him, or you have to hide the tracker, should I say.
Exactly.
Okay, we're moving on.
Let's do it.
Thank you for that story. I enjoyed the petty revenge.
Ain't no problem. We was real petty at the beginning of this episode. Wow. I quite enjoyed it.
I feel sorry for whatever smell, though, that child had to endure from that. I get
for real, like
think about that.
Low key, she set herself up.
She did. She did kind of set herself up, but I'm glad she called her dad. Like, I'm grounded and I'm proud of it. That's so cute. Okay, so we have a new thing I'm going to try. I don't know how well it's going to go, but we're going to try it. We're going to do something new.
Okay.
Now, I am not making this solely my thing. I think if it does well, me and Timmy can switch off on doing something like this. I don't
Okay.
know what I'm going to call it yet. If you guys have a name for this segment, please give me a comment or suggestions of any kind, either in our comment section or you can email to us or whatever, however you find us. But I see people do these types of challenges all the time, and I thought it would be fun. So tentatively,
Oh, no.
I'm calling this the Straight Face Showdown. And this is a
Straight face.
don't laugh challenge.
Oh, girl, why would you do this to me? You know
Which
I'm
is
gonna lose.
I know.
Ugh.
But
Okay.
I found some, corny, some a little dark humor type jokes. I'm gonna read them out to you, and we're gonna see if you laugh about it. Because I know I got a good chuckle on a couple of these, but I'm corny. So
All right.
whether or not
Y'all
these are
don't be
actually
mad.
funny, I don't know.
Don't be mad if y'all just hear silence because I'm going to try my best. I'm going to try my best. So I hope if it don't translate on the podcast, go look at the video. Okay. Because I ain't doing a whole bunch of chopping and screwing. Okay.
Right. So yeah, I'm going to read out some of these. And like I said, some of these are a little bit on the darker side, not too much. I don't think I did too bad. I made sure the really dark ones weren't added to this because people get dark. But if it is something, if you're not really into that kind of stuff, that kind of humor, of course, as always, you're more than welcome to skip this portion of the podcast and just go straight to the stories that we're reading after this. So, first one. I told my wife she should embrace her mistakes. She hugged me.
And you know what? Okay. Yeah.
She hugged me. Okay, as I get older, I remember all the people I lost along the way. Maybe your career as a tour guide was not the right choice.
Oh, this is getting more difficult. But I'm keeping a straight face.
You're keeping it.
You lost immediately. Like
I know I did.
I'm over here like I'm gonna lose
did.
immediately, and Crystal was like, and I hugged him. Like I thought you was gonna put up a fight.
Okay, I'm gonna do them from now on. But I just found I've been chuckling about these things all day, so that's why I'm just like I'm excited. I'm like reading them and I'm looking. What is your reaction? How do you feel? Okay.
I'm just trying. I'm trying, but they getting me. Okay, here we go.
I'm at least get a smile. I know that much. Okay. What's worse than a lobster on your piano? Crabs on your organ. I knew it.
No, it's it's because you was trying not to laugh. Damn.
I was trying so hard.
You was
okay. We'll take these individually. The challenge is not it's who laughs first, I guess. Okay. I work with animals, a guy says to his date. That's so sweet, she replies. I love a man who cares about animals. Where do you work? I'm a butcher, he replied.
Damn, that's dark. That's real dark.
Let's see. How do you know you're not well liked in your friend group? When you get handed the camera every time that they take a group photo.
Oh, I gotta breathe. Not they called
now
you
I'm laughing
ugly.
at you.
Not they called you ugly. Number one,
and not me.
Because now that I think about it, wait a minute.
I get asked this entirely too much.
You know what I'm saying? I never thought of it that way. What you? Next time somebody hands me a camera, it's like, can you take a picture of us? I'm like, bitch, what you trying to say?
That actually happened to me.
That happened to you recently?
That happened not recently. It was back in so short story. This was back when I went to the Cannes Film Festival. 2017, I want to say. I want to say it was 2017. I know, it was a while ago. But the reason why I went is because there was this thing called Campus Movie Fest where these people came to different college campuses. They gave a film challenge where you made a film within a week, and then at the end they did the showcase where they chose the top 4. Well, my film was one of the top 4 that was chosen at my school at the time. And then they take all the winners and they have a Cannes short festival type thing where you can showcase your short at the Cannes Film Festival in the short corner. So you can submit your film to be considered, and then they choose like 25 out of the nationwide. So my film, my film was one of the ones that got chosen. So I did end up going on this trip. While I was there, it's a bunch of people that you don't know. I think the only people I knew obviously were the people I went with, which was like 4 other people, because everyone at my school got in the top 4. So all 4 of us got into this program. So I was with them. And we were out one night, or one day, we were exploring. There was a group of us, and it was like 3 or 4 other girls, very beautiful girls. And we stopped at one point they ended up doing a mini photo shoot, essentially, because everyone's a filmmaker. Everyone's just an aspiring filmmaker. So everyone had cameras and video and all that stuff. And I'm just trying to enjoy the view. I'm not paying attention to any of this stuff. But they start doing like a mini photo shoot at one point, and I turn around and I see them posing, and essentially, and then one girl looks at me. She's like, "Oh, could you actually, you're kind of in the shot."
And you know what? I think I may have just leaned over the rail and just dove right into the ocean. I think I may have just dove straight head first to the ocean.
That's actually where I was at. I was at the cliff looking down into the ocean, and I was like,
I know what that coastline looked like. That's what I said. I would just...
Yep. Yeah, because that's what I was doing. Why would
you disrespect me like that?
I was admiring the view. Yeah, I was admiring the view when I turned around and saw what was happening. And then they noticed I was behind them and was like, "Oh yeah, you're actually in the shot here." And then that same girl proceeded for the rest of the day to, I guess, try to talk to me. And when I didn't really acknowledge her in the way that she wanted, she... Kristal hates me. Oh my God. Kristal hates me so much. And I never denied it.
Because if you would have had a good 1.5 times to try that with me, and you would have got cussed the fuck out.
Right.
Because you're not finna just play in my face, because you know I don't like you. And now you just picking with me. So now I'm going to have to give you a reason not to like me. Since you think, because I'm not bothered. I'm trying to enjoy this trip, and enjoying this trip does not include you. Okay?
And mind you, I want you to know, if you're ever watching this, I didn't hate you because you essentially called me uglier than the rest of you guys. Because I really didn't care. I don't like getting my photos taken. I hated you because you kept telling me I hated you. Girl. And I hate that. So, and hate is a strong word. I should say dislike. I disliked you. Yeah.
Are you mad? Now I'm mad.
No, now I'm mad.
Now I'm mad because you keep asking me if I'm mad.
Yeah, no, it was telling me, Kristal hates me. She hates me so much. And I'm just like, yeah.
I hate the way you walk, the way you talk. I hate the way you dress. I hate the way you... Shout out to Kendrick Lamar. Okay.
Let's see. "What's your name, son?" the principal asked the student. The kid replied, "David, sir." "Do you have a stutter?" the principal asked. The student answered, "No, sir, my dad had a stutter, but the guy who registered my name was a real jerk."
No.
"My boyfriend said to me the other day, if anything ever happens to me, I want you to meet someone new. Apparently, getting stuck in traffic doesn't count as anything."
Wait, I don't get that one.
Okay, it's okay. It doesn't work if you don't get it.
I didn't get... Wait.
Her boyfriend says, if anything happens to me, I want you to meet someone new. And apparently him being stuck in traffic. Yeah.
It's okay. When I say zippity doo dah, zippity day, just over... it just... Woo, over my head. Like...
Today I made a decision to visit my childhood home. I asked the residents if I could come inside because I was feeling nostalgic. However, they refused and slammed the door in my face. My parents are the worst.
And you know what? I win. Like, You can't even finish the sentence without chuckling. And I'm over here stonewalled.
Because they're so funny to me. Okay, and then the last one. I started crying when Dad was cutting onions. Onions was such a good dog.
Oh. You say you knew this.
That's why it was the last one.
Oh, you knew that one was gonna get me. You knew that one was going.
I know with
that-
Timmy, I do have to go dark. I have to go dark with Timmy to really get.
Oh my god, that's like that time. You remember the early podcast? Well, we had to bleep something out because
Because of you.
I mean, y'all,
Mhm.
if y'all are new around here, please go back. It was like one of maybe the first 10 episodes where we had to bleep an entire section. Matter of fact, I think we cut the entire section out because I laughed at something that was dead ass serious. Like, should not be laughed at. And I was crying laughing. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was damn near on the floor. Well, thank you for that, Kristal.
You're
Especially that
welcome.
last one, because that last one got me. That last one got me.
Yeah, I laugh just because
Alright.
they're corny and stupid, but I know with him it's the dark ones that he will appreciate more. But like I said, it's a new segment. If you guys liked it, let me know. If you laughed about it, let me know in the comments. If you'd like to see more of it, please let us know. And I'm not gatekeeping this one, so me and Timmy can switch off on when we do something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should do like corny dad jokes too.
I know. I was
Tahoe's
like,
in there.
some of them were like a little corny daddish, so I was
corny
like,
dad jokey. Yeah, a little punny. I like a little punny situation. Get it, punny. It's a pun for fun. Anyway, you ready to get into the rest of the stories?
I am.
Let's do it. So this one is by way of r/am I the asshole, and it is entitled "Am I the asshole for telling my aunt and family that they're..." Let me read it again. Am I the asshole for telling my aunt and family that they've lost access to my sister? Uh-oh. A few days ago, I, 23-year-old female, was supposed to pick up my little sister, 7-year-old female, whom I have sole custody of. But my aunt, 32 female, overstepped and said that she would pick her up and drop her off to me. She took 45 minutes to do so, although I lived 10 minutes away and was only 5 minutes away from pickup. Fast forward to the next day, my little sister informs me that while she was with our aunt, she saw our estranged mom, who was only allowed to be seen during supervised visits with CPS. Ooh. I texted my aunt and asked her if this was true. She began telling me that there was no need for me to tell you because that is her mom. And she began attacking me verbally. She said she isn't wrong for hiding it. She invalidated how I felt and disregarded how crucial it is for me to know these things. The rest of my family also began to text me. My grandma even took her side. I told them that they have lost access for not understanding the sacrifices I've made for my sister, not understanding that I've committed the rest of my life to this, and not respecting my wishes. Am I the asshole?
If your mother doesn't, if you, because you said she's 22?
Girl, I can close the phone. Hold on. Hold on. It's 23.
She's 23. If you, as a 23-year-old, was chosen out of all of your family by a judge to be the most sound and fit person to have custody of your little sister, that says a lot about your family. It says a lot about your family. The fact that, the 32-year-old aunt wasn't chosen, or even the grandparents, it was you, this more than likely newly freshly graduated person, if you went to college, just starting out in life type person. That says a lot about you and your family. I totally understand. I'm assuming if the mother lost custody, obviously there is a reason why she lost custody, and it must not be a very good reason. I mean, it must not be a good thing that she did, whatever it was she did. And it's true. You're her guardian. You're not her sister anymore. You're her guardian. For all intents and purpose, you're essentially her mother now. whether she will end up seeing you in that light or you'll always be her sister, either way, but you're her parent. So what you say goes, what your wishes are goes. You know, you're not co-parenting with anyone. You are her sole provider.
Mm-hmm.
Any access that these people have to this child is a privilege, which has now been taken away because they think they have a say in this. They don't. I'm assuming maybe either, you know, they were one of those people who were like, oh, we can't be raising a child. We don't have time. We're too old. We're too this. We're too that. And so it all fell on you. And maybe that's why you're the one who got chosen out of all of them. And if that's the case, like, y'all didn't want the responsibility. I did. I'm the one who committed this for the rest of my life so that my sister would stay in our family. You guys weren't willing to make that sacrifice. Yeah. I mean, kudos to you. The only thing I can say is if they really feel like they want to fight for her, the court system's right there. File a motion, ask for, you know, guardianship as well. Let the courts decide
Mm-hmm.
it. But ultimately, I don't think you're an asshole. You're doing what you think is right for your sister, and these are your wishes. This is what the court's wishes are. You obviously must feel that they need to be abided, because I know that the court system isn't always fair to parents and stuff like that. Things happen. I mean, just watch the Take Care of Maya documentary. We covered that.
Girl. Mm-hmm.
But if you're feeling like, no, she only needs to have supervised visits with the mother, with your mother, I'm going to assume there's a reason for it. And so the rest of your family cannot respect that decision. Then, like I said, their access to her is a privilege, and that's going to be revoked. I do know that some places have like grandparent rights and stuff like that. And again, and if that's the case and they feel like their rights are being violated, they're more than welcome to go through the courts to have a different arrangement made.
Yeah. Just to play the other side of the fence for fun. Thinking about at our advanced years, I say that like we are 60, but
No, see, you can't even say that because my mother's birthday's coming up and she's turning 60. So we got to go further. Our advanced age, like we're 80.
We're in our 80s. Yeah, girl. We're saying that like we're in our 80s. Being outside of our 20s, right?
Mm-hmm.
And thinking about where we were mentally at 21, 22, 23. Girls, sub 25 will give it. I know that you are technically an adult at that age. On the books, you can move around the world. The only thing you really can't do is, run for president and some higher government seats and or rent a car on your own.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a little crazy that they gave you sole custody of a 7-year-old. That's wild. Like, you're not even old enough to have. Wow. Well, maybe actually, to have a 7-year-old yourself. Maybe you actually are old enough to have a 7-year-old yourself, depending on the circumstances. It's so difficult. It's so difficult in my brain because on one hand, I'm like, you ain't got the answer, Soy. You 23 years old. Like, you may think that because I know for a fact there was shit that I thought at 23 years old that I just knew. I knew was right. I knew right from wrong. I had all the answers to the world. But as I've gotten older, I've seen, there's a lot of complexity here. There's a lot of gray area here. Certain rules apply to certain people, depending on race, class, nationality. Like, it's way, way, way more complex than I thought it was at that age. So to think of this 23-year-old having such I'm not like she shouldn't abide by the court order. If you should only have supervised visits, you should only have supervised visits. However, to be so I don't know what has happened between you and your
Mm-hmm.
mama or your sister and the mama. I don't know what happened. I'm just going off of the information that I have. To have zero wiggle room is a little wild to me at 23 years
Mm-hmm.
old.
Yeah.
To make that decision for the 7-year old, especially when the entire family, I mean, maybe the visitations are so sparse, the rest of the family feels like they have to go behind your back
Mm-hmm.
in order to let the mom see the daughter. But, and maybe that's something that you need to look at. Maybe that's a gray area that you're just not seeing at your age,
Mm-hmm.
but that I just wanted to throw that out there because I just
Yeah.
can't 100% be like, you are completely right when
Right.
you're 23 years old, with full custody of a 7-year old. Like I don't think I can get behind that
Yeah,
100%,
like I said, that's why I feel like the fact that she's the one with the sole custody must say a lot about the situation itself. Like, if they felt you're the best one, because I felt the same thing. I mean, listen, it wasn't until I was pretty much in my 30s that I thought, okay, maybe one day I will have kids. But all in my 20s, I was like, I don't know how y'all are having all these kids. I still feel like a kid. I don't feel like I'm able to take care of a child.
Right.
So I'm with you on that. It's wild to me that this 23-year-old has this custody of her, but to me that must speak to the situation. It must be dire
Hmm.
enough that she was the best one. And if that's the case, the fact that these older people who either turned down the opportunity to take this child in or were not fit enough to take this child in are the ones who are saying, we can go behind your back. Like, that's her mother. I don't care what the court system says. Like, I can
Yeah.
see why she's like, no, you've now lost your ability to see this child now because you can't respect my wishes. I mean, if you feel like things are being unfair, even a conversation, I mean, that's, you guys are the older ones. Come have a conversation with me like an adult and
Hmm.
express your worries. And maybe she would have been on board. But again, I don't know what this mother did. I don't know how bad her
Yeah.
situation is that caused her to lose custody. So that's
Yeah.
why, going off what I'm going to say you're not the asshole, because I'm assuming
Hmm.
with you being 23 and having sole custody, the situation must have been pretty bad and you're just doing what you feel. Like, this doesn't really feel like a control thing to me, more as a, it's like I am trying to protect my little sister and
Yeah.
show you guys like I'm her parent, you're disrespecting me type thing.
Hmm.
But I get what
Yeah.
yeah. It's a murky area.
Excuse me. I see what you're saying. Um, I think because I think we're on the same page, but I think
Mhm.
when you're looking at the situation, you're seeing like the mom must have did some crazy shit to where and the rest of the family must be on some other shit to where they didn't even qualify to have this child.
Yeah.
For me, I'm thinking more along the lines of maybe the mom did this recently when
Mhm.
the 23-year-old was like 21, 22, whatever, and she was the
Oh,
closest kin,
right.
so she was the de facto,
Mhm.
and she actually took it on
Right.
instead of passing it down the chain, which probably would have been her grandmother next,
Right. Gotcha.
which is where I'm looking at it from. So it's like it could be both, where she's
Yeah.
trying to protect her sister and maybe she has some animosity towards her mom. So it's kind of coming off on the rest of her family where she's like, this is the only boundary. Like there's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
nothing, she's not gonna see her outside of these strict ass rules. And
Mhm.
that's it. And if y'all ain't abiding by it, that's it. And I know it's really, really easy to be rigid like that when you're that
That young.
age.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
really, really easy to have these hard lines.
Mhm.
And then when you get a little older, get a little more experience and see things, get a different perspective, you'd be like, oh shit. Okay. All
Mhm.
right.
Yeah.
I have to be a little more flexible.
Mhm.
There are others to consider here, other motives. Either way, but that's just me playing devil's advocate because I agree with you. I agree with you, but that's just me playing devil's advocate, for the
Right.
fun of it.
All right. Are we gonna do one more story for the people?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it
Okay.
before my throat give out.
I was gonna say. Okay. I also have an Am I the Asshole story. This one is saying, Am I the asshole for saying it can't be that hard? My wife, 36 female, and I, 46 male, have been married for 15 years. We have 4 kids, 16, 14, 8, and 3. My wife has been a stay at home mom for our entire marriage, while I, until recently, have worked 3 weeks away and 1 week home, which means my wife has done 90% of household chores our entire marriage. Work changed recently, and now I'm pretty much home all the time and traveling much less often. All the kids are on summer break right now, and my wife made a comment getting into bed about how much more her workload has increased with all the kids being home. I offhandedly said, the older kids pretty much look after themselves, so how hard can it really be? Wrong thing to say in hindsight. My wife said that since it's so easy, I could take over. Well, it's been a week and the ship is sinking. Our older kids do a lot of their own chores, dishes, laundry, their bathrooms, and the younger kids pick up their toys, etc. But there are just a million other tedious things I didn't realize needed to be done, like scrubbing prints off the walls and door frames, dusting the ceiling fans, wiping the windows, sweeping and vacuuming all the time. And just so many small things that seem to take up so much time. The house seems tidy, but it doesn't feel clean like it normally does. I apologized profusely to my wife and she accepted. But I was talking to my mom about it and she reamed me out for being an asshole, saying my wife has done more than she should have to put up with for a decade. And did you just think a magical cleaning fairy came and handled all this at night? My wife agrees with my mother and now wants to switch up the way we do chores. Though I said it, I'm working and being the only financial provider, then I think, sorry, that was weird. My wife agrees with my mother, now wants to switch up the way we do chores. I said, if I'm working and being the only financial provider, then I think the split is fair. She said she should get a job and then we can split chores evenly. And I told her she was just being petty. My mom is fully on my wife's side, but she was also a stay at home mom. So I feel like she's biased. Am I the asshole?
Whoa. Okay. Number one, you told me to do this. Bias.
What did I say?
You said bias. Girl.
Biased.
Bias. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm flabbergasted at this man. Number one, sir. You making men look bad out here in these streets, okay? How, he said he was 3 weeks away and 1 week at home.
Mm-hmm.
Number
for the
one,
majority of their time.
And that was for years.
For years, like a decade at least.
Decade.
It's only recently that he has been home as basically a work from home type thing.
And are any of those kids below 10?
Yes.
Yeah, you might want to get
them. 8 and 3.
Yeah. You might want to call Dana. You might want to call Dana and get them tested. Because my boy, 3 weeks away and 1 week home.
Mm-hmm.
Out the month. Anyway. Because somebody was walking down that staircase and it wasn't you. And kudos to her. Because she was doing the cooking, the cleaning, washing, bathing, feeding. I mean, sickness, everything. Oh my God, it's so much stuff to do, especially with multiple kids. Like, girl, that lady was holding down the fort, and you got the nerve to question her about the work that she didn't put in to uphold your home. Now, mind you, she ain't had to clock in. She ain't had to have a punch card. She ain't had to worry about, what the insurance was doing. She ain't had to worry about none of that. I get it. I get it. You was out there, as they say, slaying the dragon. You felt like you was entitled to a little bit of, you felt like you was entitled to a clean home and quiet kids. as the old folks used to say. However, we in a new day and age, right? Where even though you are away and you are bringing home the bacon, there should be a reprieve for your wife when you come home. And obviously, that has not been the case over these decades that you've been spending with your mistress 3 weeks out the month. Because quiet as it's kept, you ain't out there. That road get lonely, and it's a long road. Okay. I'm sure there was some lot lizards somewhere in that decade. And now that you home more often, you damn skippy. You need to be cleaning up this house and picking up on the little things. How you spent a weekend and you crumbling? The ship is sinking. Stand up. Clean that house. Get down there in them baseboards. You take that Swift across them and then you take that goddamn rag across them. You crazy. Get the dust in them cobwebs in the corners your wife ain't been able to reach in this decade that you've been gone.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, run your finger across the back of that TV. I bet it's dirty. Get in there and clean the back of that TV. You done pissed me off. You done pissed me off.
So
empty the china cabinet. Get in there and wipe that good china down because we ain't been able to do it because them kids been running my ass ragged.
Mm-hmm. So
matter of fact, don't get me started. Don't get me started.
Obviously, people in the comments lit into him. This was more than unanimous. You're the asshole situation, but this is a comment because I guess he did reply to some people's comments, but this one's pretty much sums up what he was saying. This person says his comments are even worse. He says she didn't finish her degree and hasn't worked, so no job experience. I wonder why, since she got pregnant at 19 and he was 29. So of course she didn't get to finish college. He says she's been fine with this for 17 years and is only saying something because she's listening to others and she's sometimes naive. Clearly, she can't be trusted to make her own decisions.
I'm disgusted. I didn't even even make that connection.
Mm-hmm.
This woman, this ties back to the last story. Thinking you know what the fuck you doing at that between that 19 and 25, you think you know what the hell going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get to that 26 and you see the other side of your 20s, you be like, hey, oh, wait. Shit switching up. Like, this is real crazy. She got to the other side of the hill and she said, wait. Mm-hmm. I've been played. I've been bamboozled. I've been duped. I was taught to believe from a young age as a little girl that this is what I should aspire to. But I have dreams. I have aspirations. I have things that I want. I have given every ounce of who I thought I was because I don't know who I am because I've never had the time to develop myself past having your children and keeping you and your household happy.
Yeah. This is why I
say the fact that she's staying in this marriage is wild to me because I couldn't come to that realization to stay there. I couldn't do it.
This to me is a prime example of what I mean when I say I have problems with these men who are very significantly older choosing these girls who are in their late teens, very early 20s, because this is what happens. These men who are out of their 20s when they marry them have had their 20s to do all this fun stuff and be crazy, and they've just stolen it from this girl, making them think, oh, well, I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to provide for you. You don't even have to work. Like, you just take care of the kids in the home, making it seem like it is easy. And then they get into it and they live their life like this. And then they get into their 30s like she is now, and they realize their life, they probably feel like their life has essentially passed by them doing all this. I'm not saying that she doesn't love her kids or she wasn't happy or fulfilled by having kids, but there is going to be a part of her that recognizes that she was gypped, essentially. Yeah. Because you have to understand, men, when you try to claim this argument, well, I've provided for you, I've done this, I've done that, the only reason why you were able to do that was because she stayed home.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
you're having to do childcare and you're having to, work different hours and you're not able to be 3 weeks off, 1 week on without there being someone there to dedicate to your children that you had. You're able to not have that mental load because your partner's there doing it for you,
Ooh. Come on.
So yeah, I'm with you. A lot of people say, it must be nice to be able to clock in and then out of your work, where a stay-at-home mom doesn't get to do that because
At
these men
all.
come home and they're tired and they're exhausted.
She
They've been
clocking
working
in
all day.
twice.
Right. And so instead of coming home and trying to find time where you both get to rest, it's really just you that's resting, and she's now having to take care of an extra child because now you're
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
So,
And I don't to y'all men out there that pluck these young women from these trees before they are ripe, and craft their world, because that's what you're doing. You're not really letting them experience the world. You're really curating your version of the world for them to live in and experience. I really don't understand how you can be fulfilled in a relationship with somebody who is not fulfilled in themselves.
that's
If
why
that
they have
makes sense.
mistresses.
I mean, why wouldn't you want to be with someone who is self-realized, or at least comfortable in themselves, or comfortable enough in their relationship to explore facets of themselves, like their interests, their hobbies, if they want to switch something up? To allow somebody their freedom, this just sounds really locked down. You can exist in this box and that's it. And you should
Right.
be happy that I'm providing this box for you to live in. Like,
And then get mad when things aren't exciting and they're boring and they're this and they're that. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
But to play devil's advocate a little bit, I'm not just I can't only just because we do have more women in the working force where we have men staying at home more. This is really just to anybody who is in that dynamic. If you're the one who's working and your partner is the one who is staying home, when you come home, I know you're tired, I know you're exhausted, but especially if you have kids, they're tired and exhausted too. Whether or not, the kids get to go into school, whatever the dynamic is, find time for both of you to be able to have a breath, a reprieve from whatever it is your job is, whether or not that's outside of the home or not. That's my only thing.
Yeah.
But we hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
Yeah, thank you for pissing me off this evening.
You're welcome. Just love it so much. It's so great. It's so easy.
So easy. The buttons to push. And thank you to that mug, because the mug has been the star of the show tonight. I mean, every time you lift it up, I'll be so hyped. Like, it's taking everything within me not to mention it every time you've taken a sip. And if y'all pay attention to this episode, every time Kristal lift that mug, you're going to see my eyes go just like this. You're going to see me look at it every single time. Love that mug. Anyway, thank you all so much for joining us for another episode of the Tea and Crystals podcast. If you like what you heard, make sure you leave us a 5-star review and a written review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening. If you like what you saw, make sure that you leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe on the YouTubes. If you have any questions, comments, or you would like to share your own story, like we are going to share of our listener very soon, once we remember, you can do so at teaandcrystal@gmail.com. That's teaandcrystal@gmail.com. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Facebook by searching Tea and Crystals Podcast. Follow us on TikTok at Tea and Crystals Podcast and on Instagram at Tea and Crystals Pod. Now, Kristal, is there anything else you want to say to the people before we get the hell up out of here?
I got this mug on Amazon and you can too.
Girl.
Thank you guys so much.
I wish we had an affiliate link.
I know, right? Thank you guys so much. We will see you next week. Bye.
Bye, y'all.